Hey there, everyone. Oh, here's a new one I learned today. Uh, don't know which way's your way, but yeah, K for Kawasaki. Yeah, I went on the group Kawasaki ride from Dumaguete, the dealership. A couple of times a year, they invite all the owners of the big Kawasaki's in the area to go on a sponsored ride with them somewhere. They pay for the breakfast and lunch and drinks and coffees and booze and stuff. So yeah, I like to join those. Yeah, they're pretty good fun. You meet some people and stuff like that. Yeah, you ride together on the way there, but on the way back, you just got your own pace. So I had another guy following me. We're going pretty fast. Sunday, just after lunchtime, was actually really good because that's when most of the Filipinos are having their siesta after their big Sunday lunch, and the roads are pretty empty. And of course, the middle of the day, it's hot. Not too many dogs on the road either. Yeah. But hey, I was going to talk about what's in it for like living in Dumaguete in 2024, what to look forward to, and what I'm planning on doing. Hmm. Yeah. So more traveling. Yep. Probably not much more drinking. This is pineapple and rum. The Tandaway Select, which is the nicer 30% alcohol rum mixed 50-50 with pineapple. It's such a tasty good drink. I kind of invented it, and a few of my friends do it now as well. They complain that they got hooked on it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking of traveling to Siargao. That's the island where Filipinos can learn surfing because it's one of the only one or two islands in this whole place that actually get some waves, I think. But rather than fly like most people, I figured, get on the motorbike and might take 4 or 5 days to get there, going across northern Mindanao. But my girlfriend's never been to Mindanao either, so that'll be a good double bonus trip. And we can try out that whitewater rafting on the Cagayan de Oro River again. Groovy. She's a bit afraid, but I keep telling her, no, don't be afraid. Got your helmet, your life vest, you strap your feet in so you can't fall out of the boat, that kind of stuff. Yeah, where else? High time we went back to Bohol because Tamara and I went to Bohol for the first time in 2018, just after we first met, and that's going back 6 years now. And yeah, there's some things to check out in Luzon, Manila, and so forth, but she's never even been to Manila before, so that's probably going to be a fly to Manila and back. But there is a ferry. I think it takes 24 hours on a sleep-on ferry to get there. Could be cool. I just find out how much it costs to take the motorbike. That's probably maybe 10,000 pesos each way or something. And that's the case, I won't do it. Yeah. More parties, more friends, and stuff like that. I'm actually going to hold a party here. That's under the terms of the lease. I'm not supposed to, but hey, whatever. To celebrate the 2-year anniversary of Tamara and I living in Dumaguete, going to do a fondue party because that brings him in. The melted cheese with white wine and garlic and shit. You could do a crowd with that. Invite your neighbours and a few different circles of friends. That should be a really good night. Afternoon through to night, making more money. Yeah, I'm do my weekly trades and stuff like that. Taking it easy, going for the lower risk stuff. Still making about 6% return on investment on a monthly basis. So that's a hell of a lot better than 3 years annually in the bank or 7% annually with my Australian stocks. Yeah, keep doing that sort of stuff. It'd be nice to have more money because part of the problems with retiring in your 40s, like I did, is that you don't have a pension. You don't have your superannuation or 401k, like they call it in the United States. So you're kind of poorer than the guys who spent the extra 20 years working and investing. But, every time I ask them the question, the guys in their 60s were, would you rather retire in your 40s like me, or is it better to keep working for an extra 20 years? Without fail, they all say, I wish I'd done what you did, Adrian. right? Because 20 extra years of free time in your life is worth more than any money. Yeah. Hmm. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to 2024 living in the Philippines, Dumaguete. You know, it's a really nice place. It's great for social circles here, right? Like heaps and heaps of expat friends and a few Filipino friends. And, you know, it's a bit hard to find Filipinos who'd be your peer, who you can talk to about all the things you normally want to talk about. But there are some around and they're really cool people. Yeah. Kind of meet them in the motorbike groups and things like that. Mm. Oh, what else? Yeah, traveling, money, parties. Yeah, do more adventures and stuff. After I crashed my motorbike back in September, I couldn't really go swimming for the next 3 or 4 months. So yeah, I'm going to spend more time free diving. Maybe take some of the pro lessons and getting certified as a free diver. And yeah, next week I'm going to Sipalay. Yeah, hey there. I've got a viewer. Cheers from Dumaguete in the Philippines. Yeah. So I'm going to Sipalay with some friends next week. I'm planning all the trip. They're tagging along. It's a beautiful place on the western coast of Negros Island. It's fantastic beaches and little islands and stuff. Quiet little town, sea caves, coral, everything. And found this island called Danhugan. I just saw it on the map. You know, I look at Google Maps, call me a nerd, right? But that's how you find cool places to go to. And there's this little island with caves full of bats and lagoons and lots of beaches and surrounded by coral reefs. And it's owned by a conservation organization. There's no electricity on the island or anything. But when you go there, because 2,500 pesos per person, which is what, 50 US dollars, 65, 70 Australian. It covers your food, your transport, your snorkeling gear hire, your kayak hire, and all that sort of stuff. So I'll have a really good time on this really wicked little island. Yeah. Hopefully I see some cool wildlife I've never seen before, like moray eels and reef sharks and sea slugs and stuff. Mm. So hi, you got any questions about, you know, Dumaguete retiring early in the Philippines? I was only 46 when I retired. Hey there. Mm. So what's the time? If you're watching this in the US, it's probably pretty early on a Sunday morning, right? Yeah. Or late on a Sunday night in Australia. Don't ask me about Europe. No. Yeah. So that's it. You know, what are you going to do if you're retired here in the Philippines? You're going to just hang out with your friends. You're going to go traveling and exploring, have some adventures, do some parties. I mean, that's kind of what life is like here. It sure beats working for the man. Yeah. I've been talking with some of my American friends about the tax issues. The IRS, the American tax, chases them all around the world, making them pay tax. But I don't pay tax. Hi, yeah. Hello, Art Park and Garden. The first Filipino place you landed at? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, of course I landed in Cebu. My girlfriend came and met me at the airport. We went to her house and then we went straight down to Dumaguete. I'd never been at Dumaguete before, but of course did a lot of research. You know, it's the home of expat YouTube in the Philippines. So I've been living in Dumaguete for almost 2 years. Yeah. Mm. And loving it. Some people, they whinge about it. Oh, I don't like the people, don't like it's too small or too dirty or whatever, and they try to find somewhere else. But I think it's a winner, and many expats would agree with me. It's a winner because it's a small city. It's got, you know, 4 unis, 4 hospitals, and, you know, all that other sort of stuff like you get in a bigger place, but it's easy to get out of. So you can be up in the mountains and the waterfalls. You could be down at the beach in a coral sanctuary in like 15 minutes. Try doing that in a big city. Yeah. So, what other questions do you people have? And where are you from? Art? from Australia, Europe, the US? Hmm. Yeah, so I better get myself another one soon. Rum and pineapple, right? This is the Tandaway Select rum. It costs like 120 pesos, which is in US dollars, $2 for a bottle of rum. Crazy, right? And then two more US dollars for a liter of pineapple juice. You just mix them 50-50 and it just tastes like a tropical paradise, right? Mm. Yeah. So, like, I might show you around this apartment. I've been living in this place for just over a year. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Doom is a good starting point for sure. Yeah, there are commercial places to rent here. I've seen quite a few around, both lower and upper. They're building new commercial places, particularly on the Jose Romero Road, which is between Dumaguete and Valencia. So people are making new businesses there all the time. Yeah. Oh, hi from Canada. You're enjoying all the snow, the freezing cold weather? Yeah. So like one of my mates, he started up a new Mexican restaurant there on a ground floor commercial place, about two-thirds of the way up to Valencia from Dumaguete. And he's doing really well. He knows what he's doing. It's called Los Burritos. Yeah. I think really if you're gonna like I know some other guys, some Aussie guys who run bars here as well, and some down on the beach and some right on the boulevard in the middle of the city. And the real key to making a business successful here is the Filipino staff. You've got to get the right Filipino staff and manage them closely. Because Filipino run businesses, oh, hi there, Kristen G. Yeah, Filipino run businesses are often managed, not always, but often managed really badly. The staff have terrible customer service and they're so slow and inefficient. So if you're catering for expats, you need to have that good customer service and make sure your staff are on the ball all the time, you know. Yeah. But it's doable. But I'd rather be retired. I don't want to go start a business or anything like that. I don't need to. So why would I want to work 12 hours a day on a business when I can just relax all the time? Go off and have adventures and fun, you know? Yeah. But I guess it's up to you, isn't it? What you want to do with your time if you come here. Ah, studio space if you're an artist. Yeah. Oh, well, if you want to sell paintings, you probably need a gallery, and there's hardly any art galleries here because, most Filipino people are too poor to be interested in buying art to stick on the walls. I mean, I like putting some photos up on the walls. That's the blowhole at Bishano on the east coast of Tasmania where I lived. Yeah. But you'd be better off living in somewhere like Manila or Cebu City if you were trying to sell art. But totally, it'd be nicer doing in a house because you can get out of bed anytime you want and add a bit more to your painting or whatever, right? You don't have to drive all the way into town to get to your gallery or your studio. You wouldn't want to do that in Manila. The traffic is shocking. Yeah. So Christian, you're coming at the end of July. Nice. Yeah. You're coming to Dumaguete? Oh, right. Interesting. You're going to sell your art internationally. Oh, cool. All right. Well, Christian G, yeah, Dumaguete is pretty good. Cebu City's kind of nice. It's a lot smaller than Manila. It has less road investment than Manila, though, so the traffic can be just as bad. Oh, you're also from Canada. Yeah, cool. I've never been there. I had plenty of friends from Canada, though. A guy I used to work with was from Thunder Bay, Ontario. He said the snow would come up to your roof. Yeah. Yeah, like Cebu City was kind of tempting. A lot of expats who like the city life live there, like particularly on Mactan Island, Mactan Newtown. But the most of the real estate that you live in there is condos, high-rise condo stuff. And they're little boxes. They're really small. And for the same price as you're paying for your tiny high-rise condo in Mactan, you get a 3-bedroom place by the beach here in Dumaguete area, right? It's not for me. Because like I was saying, retiring early, I've retired cheap, like nowhere near as wealthy as a lot of the expats who came here in their late 60s after an extra 20 years of working and investing, right? So I'm paying 15,000 pesos a month for rent for a brand new 2-bedroom place in Cantil, which is still inside the Dumaguete city limits, right? But it's right out on the edge. So if I walk 100 meters down the road, it's open land, it's green, it's trees and bamboo and stuff, and like little farms and bamboo shacks and villages and stuff. And I love that because that's like the real Philippines. It's fresh air, it's green, friendly people, and it's a great place to go for a walk late in the afternoon. Yeah. And I'm not the only one there. I know a few other expats living here. Some of them I don't know. There's probably 6 or 7 white guys living in this immediate area in Upper Cantil, Dumaguete. But you were going to move to Duma, yeah, and yeah, good internet, yeah. Look, seriously, I don't know about internet in so many other countries. I know about Australia, right? So, where my mum lives in Nambucca Heads on the east coast, it's a small town, and her internet is really unreliable. It's not very fast because it's a copper cable, the telephone line, which was put in decades ago coming down the street to her house. Where I lived in Tasmania, you had optic fiber to the home, to outside the house. Here in the Philippines, I've got fiber optic cable coming into the house, straight into the modem, which is great. And it's really reliable, and I'm getting 200 megabits per second, which is great. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Well, um, I just got into a hotel, sorry, for 1 week when I got here, and that in that 1 week I found an apartment to rent. So it's not difficult to do. You just got to be on the ball, and as soon as you get here, I mean, you might want to rest if you're jet lagged the first day coming from Canada, but yeah, get out there and find somewhere to live because living in a hotel is not that great. Yeah. And also about generators and stuff, there are alternatives. I mean, I'd really like to look into solar, but I'm only renting, right? And that could be a bit tricky. One of my neighbors, Brooks, he's got a generator, but I've got a UPS for, running a computer in the modem. So when the power goes out for a couple of hours, I've still got internet. And if you're working off a laptop, which has also got a battery, that's fantastic. You'll be able to keep working, keep your internet for a couple of hours at least, as long as you get a uninterruptible power supply, which is like a battery backup. And I got one that was only 5,000 pesos, right? Which is what, 100 US dollars? Yeah. Hmm. Oh, right. Yeah. Art Park and Garden. My hotel. Like, I only stayed 1 night in Cebu City when I arrived here, because I knew I wanted to go to Dumaguete, and I'd lived in Cebu Mactan for a month before when I came here on long service leave, so I knew what it was about. Yeah. Oh, Christian. Yeah. Some studio apartments. Yeah. You'd be able to get a 2, 3 bedroom place for the same price in Dumaguete as you're paying for a studio in Mactan, Newtown. Yeah, think about it. I mean, do you want the city life and have to just you might feel a bit isolated because if you want to go somewhere else in the city, it could take an hour or two stuck in traffic to get there. Whereas in somewhere like Dumaguete, you're only ever stuck in traffic for 5 or 10 minutes at the most, right? Yeah, big advantage. Um, But actually, the first night I stayed, it was a condo, just a condo for rent by the night, like an Airbnb thing. I was near the airport. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really swish, like expert decorated place. Except there was just no water or electricity, so we got out and got a refund. Yeah. Oh, 30 to 40,000. Yeah, exactly right. That's what you're paying in Cebu City, right? But if you go down to Darwin, okay, which is two little towns south of Dumaguete on the sort of southeast coast of Negros Island. I've got lots of friends that love living there, okay? And for 35 to 40,000, you get a three-bedroom house with a swimming pool on the beach. All right? Why would you pay for a little box in an apartment when you each to their own, right? Hmm. Oh, good question about the ferries, Art. There are a couple of different ferries, but my favorite one goes from Sibulan, which is the next town just north of Dumaguete. And from where I live, if you're coming from Valencia or Cantilly, like I am, there's this new diversion road, like a city bypass road. You can get there really quickly and easily. And the ferry goes every 1.5 hours, starting pretty early and going through to late. And it only takes half an hour to cross the channel and get to Liloan on the southern tip of Cebu Island. And it's pretty cheap. Like taking my big Kawasaki there is only about, well, 360 pesos. It's very easy to get from Dumaguete to Cebu Island. Mm. Oh, so Christian, yeah, sure, you'd move to Duma, rent a house, buy a generator, and Starlink, the satellite, yeah. Well, I'm on Globe Internet, and that was easy to set up. It's how much is it? 1,700 pesos a month. So that's definitely cheaper than you pay in the West anyway, and it's fast and reliable. So I got no issues with it at all. Yeah. Hmm. I've lived in three different apartments in the last 2 years. I'm looking for a better place and getting kicked out of the last place for, yeah, that's a long story, that one. Do you want to know it? I'll tell you. Yeah. The problem was the design of the apartments. My bedroom was just across a thin concrete wall from the landlady's bedroom. Enough said? Yeah? Yeah. Hmm. All right, I'm thinking I should get myself another drink. This is thirsty work. Yeah. But like I said, I mean, it's, what is it, $2 for a bottle of rum here. You got to be careful you don't become an alcoholic. Seriously, guys. Yeah. Ah, right. So, Christian, a largish UPS. Yeah, look, it depends on what you've got plugged into it, Christian. Um, like if I'm running my big desktop PC, it'll still run for another maybe half an hour on that 5,000 peso UPS. I mean, I could get a bigger one, right? But I tend to just save what I'm doing and turn it off. But the Wi-Fi modem keeps going for hours and hours because its power draw is tiny. So a 1 kilobyte UPS keeps that running for hours, which is great. Mm. The first UPS I bought, it was I mean, it's good enough to run the modem, but it was only 600 watt, and I'd recommend getting something bigger. Yeah. But look, see, most of my friends didn't even know about this UPS idea, and it's just like a really good stopgap thing you can use to manage the stress and oh, what the fuck again? You're like another brownout. Like there was one today that went for half an hour. Yeah, it's pretty unreliable, the electricity. Yeah. Oh, sometimes you'll get weeks with no brownouts, and then you'll get every day for a couple of days. It's exasperating. Yeah. But I know some other guys that they've bought some land for their Filipino wife and built a house on it, and they put in solar, so they've got no worries about brownouts at all. Mm. And yes, you can rent a nice place on the beach for 30 to 40,000 totally. And it gets cheaper the further south you go from Dumaguete. So if you're willing to go down to Zamboanguita, which is the next town south of Darwin, it's even cheaper then. You'll be able to get a really nice 3-bedroom place with a private pool and a granny flat on the beach for like 25. And you have to pay an extra 6,000 a month for the gardener because it's a big garden, right? And he cleans the pool and everything. Yeah. Look, I know some German guys that went all the way down to Bayawan, which just sort of takes you an hour to get there from Dumaguete, and they got a really modern 3-bedroom house on the beach for 11,000 pesos a month. What is that in dollars? That's $300 a month, depending on what kind of dollars you got. $200 to $300 a month for a 3-bedroom house on the beach, and it's modern, spick, nice house. Crazy, but they did complain that in Bayawan it was boring and hot, and there was only one kind of food available, so it may not be a good idea. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally afraid of the power outages. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But look, is the all day brownouts in Dumaguete, they happen every couple of months, like I don't know, 3-4 times a year, okay? And they're all planned. They give you advance notice because they're replacing the poles or something like that. It's usually the poles and wires company, not the power generation company. And so they give notice that the whole area and all the little towns around Dumaguete are going to have no power from 6 o'clock in the morning till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So what does everybody do? Well, it's always on a Sunday, right? And everybody either goes up to the forest park, sort of west of Valencia, where it's cold water coming down the mountains and all these natural pools, and you can definitely stay cool there. Or they go to the malls, which have got solar power and generators, or they go down to the beach in Darwin, where you can cool off in the sea. And it's really crowded in those places on those days. But you know, having a motorbike, it's really good to go further afield, and where there's not the big crowds. Like there's plenty of nice places. You can go to Twin Lakes. Oh, you can't swim there. You can go to Lake Balanan, which is just gorgeous. Yeah. Oh, Christian, yeah, well, a laptop, you don't have to worry so much because it's got its own battery, right? It'll last, especially if you turn down the screen brightness, it'll last a couple of hours. Yeah, the 2 monitors, they'll need the UPS, a modem, yeah. But look, you can get a bigger UPS than me. You can get a 2 kilowatt UPS, like that's going to be big and heavy, and that will last you for run your computers and everything for quite a while. Maybe, look, I can't tell because it all depends on your equipment, but you might still be able to run all your equipment for an hour of a total blackout. Maybe more. It all depends on how much money you want to spend, how big this thing is, right? Yeah. Hey, so I got some more viewers there. Hey, everyone. This is actually my first YouTube live stream. I've never done it before. I've got a bit over 1,000 subscribers, but I'm still only up to like, in my channel, 2,600 watched hours. You need 4,000 to get monetized. Yeah. Oh, the average. Look, I'm a bit of an analytical guy, right? I manage my budget. I measure and manage all my trading and analyze my motorbike riding and all that sort of stuff. You know, I was actually offered a full PhD scholarship back in July, but I said no because they said I had to go back to Australia to do that. And like, I could do my master's through distance online 20 years ago. Why can't I do a PhD online now? Anyway, look, I'm guessing that like some of the brownouts are 10 minutes. Some of them are 1 second. Like this is the annoying thing. This is what you need. If you're doing work on a desktop computer that doesn't have its own battery, when it goes off for 1 second, that'd be exasperating. That's what a UPS saves you for. But on a laptop, that won't worry you at all. Some of them will be half an hour to 2 hours. The all day ones, though, you get advance notice and you can plan around it, which isn't bad. Yeah. So yeah, I actually went back to Australia for Christmas. My mum's birthday is on the 20th of December, and I didn't want her to be lonely for her birthday and Christmas, so I flew back there. And I was absolutely amazed at how the cost of price, like the cost of living stuff, like the West talks about. It's in the news all the time, cost of living crisis. A bottle of rum in Australia costs 20 times as much as a bottle of rum in the Philippines now. 20 times. Speaking of which, hold on a sec. I'll show you how to mix a good pineapple and rum, okay? Yeah, 5 seconds. Right, so look, I drink coffee until the late afternoon, so I won't turn into an alcoholic. But yeah, this is Tandaway Select. It's 30% alcohol, nicer tasting rum that costs $2 for 750 ml bottle. Yeah. Zambo Anguita is it's really close to the coast. The houses I've seen there, which are cheap, really nice beach houses, will be outside of the main town. But the main drag of the town is ugly. Like Zamboanguita is a bit of an ugly town, so you'd want to live outside of it, not in it. Yeah. So I do it like do a 50-50, so it ends up at 15% alcohol. So I give my about that much rum. You might think that's too much. Yep. But one of these bottles lasts me 3 or 4 days. It's okay, right? Yeah. And then because my dad died from a heart attack at the age of 53, there's this convenient Heart Smart cholesterol reducing pineapple juice. They add plant stanols to it, and just add that to the rum, and it's like you'd have to add some coconut milk to make it an official pina colada, but that costs $1, yeah, or less, maybe 70 cents. Not bad. And the pineapple juice takes away the taste of the rum, and it's really refreshing. Yeah. So the thing about Zambo Anguita, so that we're talking about the third town south of Dumaguete. So from Dumaguete, the next one down is Bakong, and I know a lot of friends that live in around Bakong. There's a lot of bars there as well, heaps of like expat bars. Then you go down to Darwin, which is where the really neat coral sanctuaries are, and then the next one down, Zambo Anguita. I'd like to live in Darwin because I'm really into freediving, and the coral sanctuaries there are straight off the beach. Like you need to swim for, depending on the tide, how high the tide is, you need to swim for anywhere between 1 and 10 seconds to get to the coral and all the clownfish and everything. You don't need a boat. It's a fantastic place. Something like 400 species of fish there. And sometimes, this is so good. And sometimes turtles. Yeah. Only the little turtles, though. Yeah, Zambo Anguita is just that traditional Filipino style thing where on either side of the one lane going each way highway through the middle of town, it's just mud on either side of the road. And then there's all the shops and everything and all the traffic, the market, all the people and stuff. So it's not pretty. Whereas Darwin, because it's got the tourism and the resorts and everything with the reef and Upper Island being nearby. Darwin's the council makes it a lot prettier. The roads really nice. Yeah, there's just a much more modern, cleaner sort of vibe to it. Yeah. Oh, there are. Yeah, there are the buses. There's two main kinds of public buses that go, from Dumaguete to the north, up through Sibalan, up to the north of Negros, and then the ones that go south through Darwin down to Bayawan. The aircon and non-aircon, and since I bought my motorbike, I don't use the buses anymore, but the aircon buses have much nicer seats, much more comfortable as well. Non-aircon, my ass, after an hour or two, it really hurts. Yeah. So like they'll be going, oh look, I'm not sure, but every aircon buses might be going every half an hour. But there's heaps more public transport here because it's the poverty. A lot of Filipino people can't afford a scooter or the two scooters a big family needs. So there's the jeepneys, which are like minibuses, and if you're tall, or if you're tall or you're big, they're really uncomfortable. They're made for people who are only just over 5 foot tall, but they're really cheap. And tricycles for shorter range. They call them tricycles, but it's like a 125cc four-stroke motorbike carrying this huge steel sidecar that you could fit 10 people on. So of course it's terribly underpowered and slow way to get around, but pretty cheap. Yeah. Oh yeah, Christian. Good question about the power and your equipment, right? The not just brownouts here, but you also have voltage changes. Like sometimes, like for a second, the lights will just dim, right? Because the voltage isn't regular here. It's up and down a bit, but a UPS also acts as a voltage regulator. So one went, oh hey, Tamara, yeah, she said, oh, just switch over for a bit. Tamara said she was really tired. She's going to have a nap, but here she is. Yeah, yeah. And we're going to celebrate 2 years of living together in March, have a party here. And but 5.5 years since I asked her to be my girlfriend. Yeah. So a UPS, also a power voltage regulator, will protect your stuff. Don't worry. Yeah. Hmm. So how are you, Ben? Huh? Come back.
Good.
Come back in the picture. You're still tired? Yeah.
Hi for viewers.
Yeah. 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 So we got up really early this morning to go on this group ride with the other Kawasaki riders up to La Libertad. There was this resort. I like this. It's a funny resort, right? It was kind of beautiful to have this infinity pool looking over the sea and really huge, beautiful established garden separating the different lodges or huts, where people would rent. But the beach was just rocks, and there were stray dogs and chickens hanging around in a beach resort.
What is that?
So
Hi
Philippines.
Tamara House Food Shopping in Darwin. Any medium-sized places?
Yeah, art. Look, we Tamara and we often go to the hypermart down at Dumaguete or Robinson's supermarket, which is in southern Dumaguete. They're not the cheapest places to buy food or the fastest, but they've got a really big range. If you look after specialty imported stuff, like if you want to get a really nice Wagyu steak, frozen of course, you probably have to go to one of the ones that is designed for expats, like Belchris in Dumaguete, or there's a little one run by a New Zealand guy called, what's it called again? Blair's Proper, and he sells imported stuff as well. Look, you can get really cheap imported steaks and stuff like that, but there's no marbling. If you just fry them up or grill them, they're going to be tough as leather. Yeah, so there are a few different ways to cook cuts of meat like that. The problem though with the big supermarkets is, like, I was talking before about how Filipino people manage retail and hospitality. So the customer service is kind of crap. They never manage it properly like it would be managed in the West. So we're talking waiting a long time in the queues. Like, it's not always bad, but often, like, you may as well watch a half-hour episode of TV on your phone while you're waiting in the queue, right? Whereas if you go to the little roadside stalls, and they're dotted all around the place. In fact, they're making a new one just 100 meters down the road from us to buy fish or vegetables and stuff. Yeah, hardly any waiting and really cheap prices. Like, it'll be half the price you're paying in the supermarket or less, which is
Exactly.
cool. Yeah.
All you need there is there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. So Samara's 20 years younger than me, and the problem with coming here when you're not in your 60s or 70s is you can't actually get away with having a girlfriend who's 50 years younger than you, because she wouldn't have been born yet for me, right? So, but a 20-year age gap is fine. And I mean, it's one of the nicer things about a 20-year age gap is we we're not too different in terms of the stage of our life. Like, I mean, I totally get how 70-year-old guys here have 19-year-old girlfriends. Okay. Like, they've got their big beer guts and everything, and their girlfriend is so cute and sexy and everything. And it's not all about money. It's about life opportunities, about life experience and stuff like that. But it's never going to be is realistically more about love, less about money than it is with a smaller age gap like the 20 years we've got here. Right? Yeah. Hmm. Oh, the hotel. What was the name of the hotel where we first landed in Duma?
Golden Gate.
The Golden Gate. Yeah, like it was a mid-range, not very expensive, not very nice. Like, I mean, it was okay, right? It's still aircon and Wi-Fi. But I got that place though because it was really central. Like, it's a short walk to the, a 5-minute walk to the public market, a 10-minute walk to the immigration office. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, except, of course, I got bad diarrhea for a couple of days. You're going to get that the first time you come here and start eating the local food.
Yep.
Guarantee it. Mm. But when you're living here and you get used to the local food and the local gut flora influences, when you go back to the West, you get the opposite problem. Don't need to go into details. Yeah. Yeah. So, look, there are not everybody, not all of the older expats go for a 19-year-old here. There are many really nice Filipino women, more worldly, more experienced, educated, and reliable in their 30s and 40s. I mean, one guy in his early 60s, his girlfriend was in her 50s, but she was really cool. She carried herself really well, and she was so good at English and so educated, and you're kind of impressed with that choice. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Go Hotel. Go Hotels, yeah, look, it all depends on what you want. You don't need a 5-star place if you're only staying here for a week and you're going to rent a scooter and then head out and look at apartments. You can ask a real estate agent to help you, but you're going to end up paying more for your rent because the agent's fee is going to be added to that. Like, I just got online. There's a heap of different websites for finding apartments available. And the first place we stayed, and we only stayed in it a month because it was a little bit above my comfort level in terms of the cost, right? Oh, the Brick Hotel. Yeah, on the boulevard. Yeah, they've got a nice restaurant there. Yeah, and some decent beers. Yeah, well, of course, it's, the nightclubs there, all the different bars and restaurants are there. You'll enjoy it at the Bricks, I reckon. The problem, though, is that it's really close to the main port of Dumaguete. So even though the sitting on the boulevard, sipping your cheap beer, looking at Siquijor Island is nice, there's going to be constant buses and trucks going past. And depending on the time of year, beggars. The number of, they really hit the boulevard, right? The number of beggars increases dramatically the closer you get to Christmas, because like huge gangs of beggars come up from Zamboanga. They're like what do they call the Bajau people that live on boats, and they come up to Dumaguete to try to get money for Christmas or something. Yeah, there's too many close to Christmas. Yeah, what was I talking about just now? I forget. Whatever. Yeah. The New Year's Eve was kind of cool. I was going to go to this beach party with different DJs, doof 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 and stuff. It's good fun on the beach. It's at a pizzeria, really nice wood-fired pizza, but they cancelled. So I just hung out with some friends at their place down by the waterside in Bacol, and then we went to Darwin to it's called the Local restaurant. They had a masquerade party with live band and stuff. All good fun. Yeah. But look, next week's trip is going to be fantastic. I mentioned this before, but we're going. Do any of you know Sipale? It's on the western coast over in Negros Occidental. It's a famous, beach and little coral island place. I've been there twice before, but never for long enough. I never went into the water or out to an island when I was there. So my mate Dean, you may have seen him in some of my YouTube videos. He's 60. He's from Florida. So him and his girlfriend and Tamara and me, we're going to Sipale next week. So we're staying in the Big Bamboo Beach Resort on Sugar Beach for 3 nights, and going to go to look at some spectacular islands and reefs. Yeah. So lots of flights from Canada. Yeah, you land in Manila. Yeah, and there's if you land in Manila late, like 5, 6 p.m., there are no connecting flights to Dumaguete. You've got to stay overnight in Manila, but there's plenty of reasonably priced little hotels, within a 10, 15 minute taxi ride from the Manila airport. And if you use the Grab app, you'll be paying half as much as just using a metered taxi. But there's heaps and heaps of people outside the airport waiting to grab the foreigners and charge you 10 or 20 times as much as the regular price for a taxi. Beware of that. Yeah. The Shangri-La in BGC, what Bonifacio Global City, that's what BGC is, yeah? I never been to I haven't traveled in Manila much, but yeah, if you got the money, stay in the Shangri-La in BGC, right? I'm sure it's lovely. Yeah. Turkish, Toronto to Istanbul to Cebu City. Oh, yeah. So flying across the Atlantic down to Istanbul and then across the Indian Ocean to the Philippines. That's a long trip, yeah. But I guess Toronto across the Pacific might be even longer. Jet lag. Yeah, but hey, at least no matter where you land in the Philippines and you're jet lagged, you'll be able to just sit around, get a massage or whatever for, 10% of what you'd pay for one in a Western country. And take your time to get over it. Of course, lucky coming from Australia because the Philippines is on Western Australian time. It's just north of Perth, Western Australia. So there's no jet lag for me. Yeah. Okay, yeah, east or west, totally, yeah. Oh, Was a Hat Gaming. Hi, Was a Hat Gaming. Who is she? She's Tamara, my girlfriend. We've been together for 5.5 years, but only 2 years living, being physically together is a lot of long distance.
You need the lights, like.
I need lights?
Yeah, like.
Oh, okay, she says I need lights. Yeah. Hey, Was a Hat Gaming. What sort of gamer are you? Oh, she's getting a light. Yeah. And Christian says, hey, Tamara. Yeah. So there was a power outage for about half an hour today, and I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 on my gaming PC. But linked to the UPS, I didn't lose any progress. I still got to play. I played for another 10 minutes and then saved and turned the computer off. Yeah. We look good. Hey, God bless you too. Yeah. Have I visited Siargao? No, but I'm planning on taking Tamara there later. When's the dry season end? The dry season ends kind of like May, June, doesn't it, babe?
Yeah, May.
Yeah, so no, I haven't been to Siargao. So only some of my friends have. Yeah. Look, it's a really touristy place. It was smashed by the super typhoon late 2021, but apparently it's largely been rebuilt. Look, I tend to avoid the really touristy places because they're just a bit of a trap, There's so many other gorgeous places that tourists never go to. Yeah. Ah, you know I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. Yeah. So, Canada drives on the right side of the road. Is that right, Christian or Art? I don't know. I mean, US drives on the right. Canada probably does as well. Yeah. Australia drives on the left, which is the correct side, but the Philippines follows the American side. Yeah. So, yeah, scooter. So, look, I don't drive cars here for two reasons. One, because the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car, and that really throws me. I know it's something that I could learn and get adapted to, but cars in Dumaguete, they travel between 20 and 30 kilometers an hour. They're so slow, and they are notoriously hard to park. They go so slow because, one, most Filipino people who own a car never learn how to drive a car. They're hopeless. Like, they take 3 minutes to do a 3-point turn. So on a two-wheeler, it's just so much faster. You can squeeze through the gaps and get anywhere between 3 to 5 times faster than a car can, right? And they're super easy to park. Yeah. It's a steering wheel on the perfect side. Yeah. Look, I'm used to being on the right-hand side of the vehicle and changing gears with my left. Yeah. Anyway, but motorbikes are the same everywhere in the world, right? It doesn't matter which country you're in. The brakes are on the right-hand side of your body, and the gear shifting's on the left-hand side of your body. So it doesn't matter at all. Mm. Yeah, and look, you'd think, oh, well, you can't, you don't want to ride in the rain, but like it's almost never a problem that I want to go somewhere where it's raining, and I've got wet weather gear anyway. Um, Safety is an issue. It is more dangerous on a two-wheeler here, and like the traffic is crazy. So like I've done a lot of riding videos and riding safety videos. So like I had that crash back in September because of stray dogs are a fucking pain in the ass, yeah. But I only had like a split second, not enough time to react. I was hiding behind something and just ran straight into my front wheel. Nothing I could do, yeah. But I was wearing all my armor, so minimum injuries, yeah. It's what you've got to do. Yeah, babe, come on. I know you're tired, you're not feeling real happy, not smiling much, but people want to see you, you know? Yeah. Hey, so we're going to Sipolay next week. Three days in a beach resort, going off on boats to visit fantastic little islands. How do you feel about that?
I'm so excited.
And how many bikinis are you going to bring in the luggage?
Those new 4 pair of bikinis.
Only 4 bikinis for 4
Yeah.
days? Okay, yeah. You know. Yeah, you consider buying a car. Look, I mean, a lot of people like the big. We call them utes in Australia, but you call them trucks in North America. You know, the big four-wheel drive, massive things. But they're so hard to park. I think you'd be better off with a small car here, particularly like a little four-wheel drive, a Kia Sportage or a Suzuki Jimny or something, because they're narrow and you can just squeeze through stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the thing about the Philippines, right? Everything got bombed at least twice in World War II, first by the Japanese and secondly by the Americans. But it very rarely they decided to widen the streets and plan for the future. And so you've got these narrow streets. So in Dumaguete, there's a lot of one-way streets. At nighttime, they're two-way, but in the day, when there's lots of traffic, they're only one-way, and you've got to get used to that. But the crazy thing about getting around Dumaguete is, like, it's about 140,000 people official population, but in the day, students and workers and everything come in from all the surrounding towns, and the population gets up to about 400,000. Okay, it's not a little place, and there is no roundabouts, no stop signs, no giveaway signs, no traffic lights. It's Law of the Jungle, kind of, except Filipino people tend to be friendly and respectful. So there's no road rage. There's no fisticuffs on the road. People just give way. I'll let you through. Now's my turn to get through. Like, it just works somehow. It's hard to believe. Yeah, good morning. Well, it's nighttime here in the Philippines. Yeah. Ah, Daniel, you're from New Zealand. Yeah, right on, right on. Hey, um, my friend Kevin, he's got his own YouTube channel here. Too much time on my hands, 65. He's real gun on options trading, but he's a U.S. citizen, so pays a fortune in short-term capital gains taxes. And I told him, oh, you should just renounce your U.S. citizenship and get an Australian or New Zealand citizenship, because then you won't pay any tax. 'Cause I pay no tax. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, as my son likes to say. Yeah. Toyota Wigo, yeah, they're fairly popular. Hyundai Accents, yeah. You see quite a few of them around because they're less expensive and they're small enough to be more useful, fitting, right? Because the slowest bloody thing around here that slows all the cars down are these so-called tricycles. They're the motorcycle sidecar that can carry 12 people. Even when there's no people in there, they'll still go really slow because the driver's looking for a fare. They're going slow, looking everywhere, right? Oh, they're terrible. They need to get rid of them, but of course they won't, right? So that's why cars tend to do 20 or 30 kilometers only, kilometers an hour here, whereas on a two-wheeler you can zip past, left or right, whatever get past. And in the big bike, I've got the 650cc Kawasaki Versys, and you just overtake, scream through. Yeah. And look, it's sometimes tempting to get a car here in Dumaguete, but most of the expats don't have one because they're a bit of a pain in the ass. If you need to carry something big that doesn't fit on your motorbike, you can just hire one of those tricycles to carry it for you for like 200-300 pesos. No big problem. Yeah. Oh, Christian, you a second-hand car? Yeah, well, my son back in Australia, he bought a 1997 BMW 3 Series and has spent a fortune on doing it up, especially when he does ridiculous young man things like, blowing the diff. What did you do that for, son? Oh, it was fun, you know. Yeah. Mm. Dogs video channel, Daniel, right? Yeah, hey, look, dogs dogs video channel. Look, the beach resort, nice beach resort with a really shitty rocky beach that I went to today with a group of Kawasaki owners, on a Sunday ride. There were stray dogs and chickens and cats hanging around in the resort, right? So the dogs are a real problem here for two-wheel riding. I actually had an idea that I could make an app, right? And share it with all the motorcycle clubs and stuff, and it would have like a map of the Philippines and all the roads. And as the motorcycle clubs go do their rides on the weekend, they can count how many dogs are on the road and enter it on the map. And so there'd be, for the first time in the history of the Philippines, a record of how many dogs are on each of these roads. And you could use that to name and shame certain municipal councils that, have the really horrible dog problem. Mm. Yeah. Look, under Filipino law, if you're riding a bike and you hit a dog, the owner of that dog has to pay to fix your motorbike and pay your medical bills. But when I crashed in a little village in southwestern Cebu Island back in September, I knew the law, right? But I was not going to push it, okay? For a couple of reasons. One, nobody would own up and say, that's my dog. Two, even if somebody did own up and say, that's my dog, there's no way they'd have enough money to fix my motorbike. Okay, my medical bills were tiny because of all the armor I was wearing, right? And the third reason is because everyone in the village rushed out to help me. So I can't be punitive and take it out on them. They were amazing, right? As soon as I crash, there's a whole bunch of people there. They lift my motorbike up and get her off the road. They pick me up and get me off the road. Bring a chair over for me to sit down on. The women went and got my keys out of my motorbike, gave them to me, got my phone off the quad lock, I mean, they had to ask how, and gave my phone and my keys to me so I can put it in my pocket, right? They said, don't worry, we'll look after your bike. It'll be at the local government hall for when you get back out of hospital. They called the ambulance. And even when I got out of the hospital, they all gathered around again, giving me my gear back. I didn't really keep it because it was all full of holes. But they roused a posse to get my motorbike up onto a truck. They organized the truck, and they were super friendly and helpful. Good Filipino people. They do that for you, right? That's exactly it, Christian. They're really nice. So I did put all of that in my YouTube video about my crash back in September, and I gave them a couple of thousand pesos, like $50 or something, before I left. Which buys quite a few bottles of rum, right? About $2 each, and they said, yeah, great, we're gonna have a party tonight. So everyone was happy. I was so happy that they helped me, and I provided, I guess, entertainment for them. Oh, a white man crashed his big bike. That's exciting in our little village where nothing ever happens. Yeah, they were happy I gave them some money too. Yeah. Right? Yeah, that's it, Daniel. Yeah. So, look, I haven't made a YouTube video in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to make 2 or 3 about this trip to Sipalay next week, all right? What's that, Christian? You missed the Facebook thing? What's the name of my profile? Oh, it's just Adrian James. That's my name, right? On Facebook. Yeah. Yeah. So by the end of next weekend, by the end of next week, you can look forward to a couple of videos. Yeah, Christian, Adrian James, that's me, from Dumaguete. But my Facebook is private, so I'd probably have to send you a request rather than you send me. But my YouTube is all public, so this is where I'm not private. Yeah. But look, Danhugan Island, I never heard about it before until I just, looking at Google Maps, looking at different places, little islands. Oh, wow, it's a little island with 10 different beaches, 5 lagoons, completely surrounded by coral reefs. It's got caves, everything you could want, right? Okay, Christian, Toronto. Yeah, I'll look you up. Okay, no worries. Yeah, super excited. So when my friend Dean from Florida and I are doing our diving, free diving, just snorkeling, looking for moray eels and baby reef sharks and stuff, the girls are going to be paddling the kayaks in their bikinis and, taking, 100 selfie pics for their social media, because that's what Filipino girls do. Yeah. When I went to Siquijor, there was a bar that had a little plaque up on the wall, and it said they call it a selfie because narcissisti is too hard to spell. Do you get that? I loved it. I took a photo. Yeah. So probably 3 new vids next weekend. Yeah. Yeah, Christian, I didn't see. Look, I'll check Facebook after the end of this. Hey, I've been on live for over an hour. Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Look, the 2 main messages is, 1, I totally love retiring early. 46, I retired. I guess mainly I did that because I had kids early in life. So my kids are 22 and 28. So they look after themselves. I can piss off to anywhere. They don't worry about it, right? Whereas most of my peers I worked with in Australia wait till they're 45 before they start having kids. There's no way they can do that. And the second thing why I retired early is because I made money in COVID. I so wanted to move to the Philippines, right? And be with my sexy girlfriend, Tamara. Oh, she's so good. And just live the tropical island life. I sold my house and quit my job at the start of the COVID lockdowns. So 4 days, just 4 days before my flight to the Philippines, the international borders were closed for 2 years, and I was homeless and unemployed at the start of COVID. Well, one of my mates said, "Oh, that just means you're footloose and fancy free." Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is that I'd already sold my house, so I had this equity. Like I didn't own it outright. I'd been paying the mortgage off really as fast as I could for like a decade. So I owned about half of it, right? And the thing is, the stock markets all around the world absolutely nosedive at the start of the COVID lockdowns, right? So the blue chip shares, like the big banks and everything, I could just buy them at a 70% discount, right? So like I got all these blue chip shares at bargain basement prices, and they just, a few months later, whoosh, they just went back up again. I made a huge return, and I could retire. Yeah. So my advice is only invest in the stock market when there's a global crisis. Yeah. And yeah, that's right. Bought in dip. Fantastic. I also changed my super. Like, I don't know what it's called in Canada or wherever. Your 401k, I'm not sure if that's the same in the US, but superannuation. And like, I didn't even think about it, but an older guy I worked with, I just went into the lunchroom and he said, "Hey, Adrian, have you changed your superannuation over to cash yet? Because, shares are going to nosedive really soon, but cash won't." And I thought, that's a really good idea. Thank you, mate. So my super didn't nosedive. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, Christian, you love buying E? What do you mean E? Love buying E? Ethereum? Crypto? Hmm? Yeah, well, anyway, like at the moment, I'm doing weekly options trades on Bitcoin mining companies in the US that are listed on the NASDAQ. They're suitably volatile to be able to make good returns on. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it goes up or it goes down, you can make money. Yeah. Sorry, see next line. Okay, yeah. Hmm. But anyway, look, I've been going for a bit over an hour, and it's getting late at night. But hey, look, I'm retired. I don't have to get up early tomorrow. Who cares, right? Nothing matters. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, look, I mean, I've got my blue chips are pretty much just the big Australian banks that are so secure. Like they're under so much regulation, unlike the American banks, before the crisis where the banks fold and people lose their money. So they're safe as anything, and they're just profit making machines with the mortgage market in Australia and all the $1 million houses in Sydney and Melbourne. Yeah, and the other ones, the big mining company, the biggest mining company in the world, which is also a pretty good money earner. Yeah. Although, don't tell my greenie friends because they'll say I'm investing in coal and uranium. Bad, bad, bad. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was a good option at the time. Yeah. It's a massive global company, and the shares were really cheap. Hmm. So look, I mean, I hope you think about it, and you think about coming to the Philippines, July or whenever you're ready, and you find a nice place to live, not too expensive. You get you can rent a scooter the moment you arrive. The first day you get here, rent a scooter for 350 or 400 pesos per day, and you can use that to get around, to visit the different vacant apartments, to look at and talk to the landlord or talk to the agent. That's how I did it. Yeah. Mm. Oh, okay, Christian. Yeah. Mm. You sold your house quite a bit earlier. Yeah. I did so much work. I renovated the house by myself, 4 months of work. Good thing it was the summer and you had a lot more daylight hours to do it in to get more money out of the sale, and it really worked. Totally. Saved a fortune doing it all myself, but oh man, the effort. Repainting inside and out, sort of taming the garden and everything. Like I was, had a full-time job at the time, and I remember it was Christmas Day, my mum was over, and I said, right, I've got 10 things to do in the house today. And my mum said, no, Adrian, you're going to rest today. Oh, okay, Mom. Yeah. No, I'm glad she said that. One day off in 4 months is okay, right? Yeah. But why the Philippines, right? I mean, maybe you've made your own mind up about this. Okay, like I thought long and hard, and like people ask me, fairly often, why did you choose the Philippines, right? Because I know some people that come here, some foreigners that come here, they get sick of it after a couple of months and they want to move to Thailand or want to move to Vietnam or something like that because the Philippines just rubs them the wrong way. So I'll tell you why I chose it and why I'm happy with it, okay? Look, first of all, as soon as I finished my undergrad degree, I moved to Indonesia, lived there for a couple of years, and because I was young, I could learn the language. So I speak Indonesian and Malay, but there's no way I'd go live there now, even if I speak their language, because they're Muslim countries. Like, there's just increasing Wahhabi, jihadi influences. It just wouldn't, just, yeah, I don't want to live with that, right? If I don't have to. Then there's, Thailand, Vietnam, and there's other places, but people don't speak English in those places. Well, I mean, the people who run an international tourist business speak English, but nobody else does. And all the signs, the street signs, the signs on shops, and the signs everywhere, they're not in English, they're in Thai script or Vietnamese script, so it's going to be confusing and difficult to adapt, right? Whereas the Philippines, the signs are all in English, right? Their own languages use the Roman alphabet, same as we do, okay? And it's renowned for its friendly people. You just walk down the road and people say hello, good afternoon, how are you? Hey, we're drinking beer, come and drink beer with us. Like, it's so friendly compared to the West. Yeah. So speaking English, not Muslim, very friendly, fairly cheap. That's why I chose the Philippines. Yeah. So Christian, in the end, is time in the market, not timing the market, but a huge general market dip does help a lot. Yeah, see, that's if you don't own shares that dip and you sell them, you lose a fortune there. And you're in retirement investments, superannuation, a 401k, you're going to lose, like it's going to dip a long way. It might probably build back up again, but if you switch over to cash before the crash, then you can just switch back over to shares later and you don't lose a thing. That's really cool. Yeah. And art, totally. English is a huge factor. Look, not everyone speaks English here, but particularly the older people, the older Filipinos, you might struggle a bit. The poorer Filipinos, less of them speak English, but like I've seen weird things here, like at the Buglasan festival in Dumaguete I went to a few months ago, and the traffic was horrendous. It felt like you're in Manila rush hour. I didn't enjoy it, right? Human crush. But the food stalls, all right? It was weird. There's Filipino people working in the food stalls and Filipino customers coming up to order food, and the Filipino lady working at the food stall taking orders would say it in English. And the Filipino people answering would say it in English. Wow, that kind of threw me. Because maybe they're from the other side of Negros Island, right? Negros Island, okay, there's two provinces, Occidental, Oriental, Occidental, right? Depending on the mirror effect, which way is left and right. So they speak Ilongo, a different language on the other side of the mountains in this island, okay? And so they all learn Tagalog, the Manila language in school, but English is an official language of the Philippines. And so it doesn't matter, they're from the other side of this own island, that they might just speak English to each other. particularly the younger people. Yeah, makes it easy. Oh, yeah, shares, hey, Christian. Totally, yeah, yeah. Yeah, dividends, totally. Like I've got these blue chip dividends I got in Australia for at a 70% discount thanks to the COVID crash. But look, they still only pay me 7 or 8% return per year. Um, which is a lot better than sitting in the bank. But the corporate tax for Australia is already taken out of that before I get the dividends. If I lived in Australia, I could claim the corporate tax as franking credits on my annual tax return. But living in the Philippines, I don't. So that's like the only tax I pay. Um, and there's nothing I can do about that. Like they used to have this rule that you could get a refund on your dividend corporate taxes, but no more. Yeah. Look, I actually paid a little bit of tax to the Filipino government. My Filipino bank account accrued some interest, and I had to pay 0.72 pesos in tax. That's like 1 or 2 cents. I can wear that. Yeah. All right, so hold on. Art, you just asked. I've heard the garbage, litter, and poor service can be turned off. Oh yeah, yeah. The litter, the dogs breaking into everyone's litter is a pain in the ass. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you need to focus on the sheer beauty of the country and stay positive. Oh yeah, look, I totally agree, Art. Some people can't stand how people burn their rubbish here, even their organic garden waste instead of composting it. They can't stand the stray dogs getting into the garbage. Like there are definitely turnoffs here. The crowds, the dirtiness, the dust, the noise. If you can't adapt to that, maybe you shouldn't move here, right? You can choose quieter places. I spent about a year living in Dulce Vida, which is up past Valencia, nice and cool and quiet. Such a clean, quiet little expat retirement village, right? You can choose places like that, and everything is a-okay. Where I live, it's a real Filipino neighborhood, and sure, there are dogs and trash burning and everything, but it's relatively quiet here for a Filipino neighborhood. The neighbors are lovely. I can just borrow, if I need a ladder or something to chop the banana flowers off to make banana flower salad, they're so happy to help, you know. Really nice people. And you can just deal with it. Like that's the thing. The natural beauty is what you need to focus on in the Philippines. Don't. So if you live in the big cities, you're just going to get pissed off with all the traffic and crime and noise and stuff. If you live on the outskirts of a town near a small city, like you live in Bacong or Darwin or somewhere like that, or up in Valencia, very popular with expats, you're going to be happier because, like in Valencia, there are huge, massive, beautiful acacia trees covered in thousands of little ferns that grow on the tree. There's that natural beauty. There's the volcano, sun setting over the volcano, gorgeous, right? And so you go up to the waterfalls, you go to the mountain, you go to the coral reefs and see the natural beauty, and that's the best part of the Philippines, the tropical island bliss. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. A twit in the Philippines. Do Australians not have ISAs? So I don't know what ISAs are. What's an ISA? I don't know. Maybe I've been living in the Philippines too long. Yeah. So, Christian, why does Australia need to know you live full time in the Philippines? Oh, look, it's part of when your immigration stuff. When you leave Australia, they ask, are you coming back or are you leaving Australia full time? And you just say leaving Australia full time. I also notified the Australian Taxation Office that I was leaving Australia permanently and when I would no longer be a resident of Australia for taxation purposes. And I don't have to vote anymore. I contacted the electoral, whatever they're called. Yeah, they have to vote. Yeah, Christian, so you're going to not apply to become a non-resident in Canada? Yeah, look, I'm just using my mum's address as my Australian address, but I'm still a non-resident. I don't pay Australian taxes except for the, tax on dividends. Yeah, dividend tax credits. I wish I could get that, but I can't. They changed the rules a few years ago. Yeah, 7.8% dividend. Yeah, but look, with this options trading stuff I'm doing, I'm getting 6% a month so far, and I'm always choosing the low risk options. That could be a lot higher. 6% a month is nice. Okay, so an ISA is an annual investment allowance shielded from tax. Oh, okay, a UK thing. Yeah, look, I mean, the good thing about being an Australian, well, anyone except from the US, is if you don't live in that country, you don't pay tax. I think it's only the US chases their citizens all around the planet. I mean, you could be living in a tent in the South Pole, and the IRS will still hunt you down if you're an American citizen and make you pay tax. Yeah. Hi, Etty and Maha. A cooking show? Wow. Right. Well, hey, because there's big banana trees in the garden here where I'm living, and they're flowering at the moment. So Tamara made an excellent banana flower salad a couple of nights ago, and I ate the whole thing. Yeah, of course. I mean, they're really tall banana trees, and I never in my life cut banana flowers before. So my neighbor Glenda, Filipino people, family living next door, they said, "Oh yeah, we've got a really sharp knife and a long pole. You can borrow that. Just give us one of the flowers." Yeah, all good. Yeah. Hmm. But look, I try to eat low cholesterol, like mostly kind of vegan food here in because of my family risk of heart disease. I really need to keep the cholesterol down. Um, and so I don't go out much. Look, going out to eat here can be really cheap. Uh, the places made for expats, the places that do really good pizzas, really good burgers and chips, aren't exactly that cheap. I mean, they're still cheaper than the West, but um, I don't go to those places so often, mostly cooking at home. Yeah, that's okay. Because, my girlfriend is just, I stopped her from going to uni because she had some pretty bad behavior influenced by her teenage uni friends. So now she's just my sexy housewife. She does all the cooking and the cleaning, and I'm a happy man. Yeah. And she's happy too because she's got an easy life. It's not like she's got to look after a big family of 8 people, right? So she gets plenty of free time. And we go on trips together and go on parties and go places. And, she's happy too. Yeah. But if you're thinking about coming here and retiring, you've got to think about how you put up with the frustrations and how you make your own life happy, how you cope with the changes and the frustrations, right? Um, you're going to find a great Filipina woman. Like you might not find her the first time, but eventually, I did the first time, right? I was lucky, but I had a system. I made a video about that. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called How to Find the Right Filipina. So you can follow my advice, no problems, no charge, no premiums. And it worked like a charm. Yeah, and other people take a little while. And look, I know a lot of expat guys here who date a single mother who is a serial dater of expats. And I would just warn against that because you're going to be looking after somebody else's kid for the next, 15, 20 years. And she's going to have so many overblown expectations about, relating to the last 4 or 5 expat boyfriends she's had. Like you're asking for a lot of trouble going with that. It's much better to find someone who's never dated an expat before. And you can train them, right? And they don't have crazy expectations. They're really happy and, find someone who doesn't have a couple of kids already to do a bunch of other guys. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to look after a bunch of Filipino kids, then go for it, right? Yeah. Mm. Maybe that's like a charity thing, goodwill thing, but I didn't want to do it. Hmm. Yeah. Look, and I've had a vasectomy anyway, so I wasn't going to have any more kids, but you got to be wary. I know guys that are in their 60s and 70s and find a beautiful young Filipino woman, and the next thing you know, your young Filipino girlfriend is pregnant, and you're going to be a dad again, and you're already 70. You're going to be looking after that kid until you're 90. Is that what you want? Mm. If you do, wow, good for you. Mm. Yeah. All right, look, I'm going to call it quits at the 1 hour and 30 mark, and we're up to 1 hour and 25. So, any last minute questions, do it now. Yeah, waiting, but you got to type it in, don't you? Mm. So excited. Next week, diving at Sipalay, Dunham Island. Oh, so many cool places to visit here. See, that's the problem. Some expats get. They just go to the bar. They go to the bar on the boulevard. That's all they do. They start drinking beer at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they get fed up with it. Their life is boring because that's all they do. You've got to look at the map, find the cool places, talk to friends, go explore, adventure. Then you have a good life here. Totally. Hmm. You won't necessarily all do the really far-flung adventurous places like I've been to, the Agusan swamp in Mindanao. That tourists just don't go there. It's this giant crocodile-infested swamp, and there's this tribe that live there on little floating houses they tie to each other so the wind doesn't blow their houses apart. I loved it. It was an amazing place. But yeah, nobody else goes there. Yeah. But tell you what, if you are a fella and you want to come and find a hot young girlfriend, the town closest to this big swamp in Mindanao is a university town. So there's young people from all over Eastern Mindanao go there to study. And when I first arrived, I got off my motorbike. There's this big gang of high school girls, 16 years old, you can't touch, right? And they all ganged up on me and demanded that one after the other they take selfies of them hugging me. It's like foreigners never go there. They're the first white guy they've ever seen. Yeah, what's that town called? Bunawan. Really shitty road to get there, but and all the university students. Oh man, I felt like a rock star in that town. Crazy. Yeah. I visited the Agusan del Sur Institute of Agriculture and Technology because I was an agricultural advisor in Australia. Oh, they gave me the rock star tour of the whole uni, introducing me to everyone, the students. And again, it was all photos with a foreigner. And they let me do a guest lecture. And it was a great experience. Yeah. 2 minutes left. Come on. Last minute questions, because I'm going to go to bed. It's getting late, and I was up very early this morning for this Kawasaki group ride. Yeah. I love living here. Love being retired. It's the bomb. Half the time I don't even know what day it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And Tamara's such a good girlfriend. She really looks after me. So sexy. Yeah, we go out somewhere. She'll take an hour to get ready. It's all the hot little dress and high heels and makeup and jewelry and everything. Yeah, pretty different to my experience of Western women. Hey, no, don't get me wrong. Western women are like my peers, right? They're great to be friends with, great to work with. Awesome, intelligent, cool people. But I wouldn't want to be in a romantic relationship with one anymore. Too many bad experiences, you know. The man's never good enough, right? Nothing you do is ever good enough. Even if they've got a headache today or they have a bad period and you buy them a bottle of champagne and a tub of chocolate ice cream, they still say you're not romantic enough. Yeah. Sorry. I've been burned. Okay, you can tell, right? Yeah. Filipino ladies have much better attitudes about men. Yeah. But anyway, look, it's 1:30 and I'm going to sign off now. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining me. I love your questions and I really hope to see you here when you come. Okay? Yeah, cool. Stay cool. You'll be right with all the snow and shitty winter weather in Canada, okay? And yeah, New Zealand people, enjoy the summer. All right? Bye-bye. How do I turn this off? Oh, yeah, that X button. Yeah.